Do you want to know how to produce a delicious pizza every time, the same quality, without any defects like burnt crust or the wrong toppings? What if I told you about a management method that would make sure that your customers are happy every time the pizza box hits their doorsteps? So, what is this mystery method? Well, it's a simple flowchart, and it's really easy to execute. Let me explain it to you with our classic zero-defect pizza example. Now, a flowchart for this process would be aimed at making sure that every pizza is made to high standards without making any mistakes or customer issues. This method focuses on preventing errors at each stage to establish consistent quality control. Next up, we need to make a list of steps for the whole process. These steps are written in a sequence, so that saves us a lot of time. But if you are making a flowchart for your project, you need to arrange the steps for your flow sequentially. This is because a structured format improves readability, allowing users to follow the process from beginning to end easily. After the baking process, we add a simple decision step to check if the pizza fulfills all requirements like a yummy crust or correct topping before delivery. Now it's time to make a flowchart and apply it to our example. As you can see, this flowchart is quite simple and follows the correct sequence. Let's start from step 1, order received. Now, a customer has placed an order for a pizza. Since all of the other steps are ultimately linked to this one, we have to make sure there are no errors in this step. We'll start out by asking them the size of the pizza, which toppings they would like, the type of the crust if they have any special requests, and finally, what would be their payment method. To make sure that we have recorded the order correctly, we'll also verify it with the customer. Once we are satisfied with it, we are going to move on to the next step in the flowchart. Step 2. Preparation and ingredient checking. Suppose that the customer ordered a large pizza with a thin crust and standard pepperoni slices. We are going to set aside the standard ingredients required for a large pizza. We could make this step even more seamless by using a list to confirm that we've taken out the correct amount of the ingredients. Plus, if we check if the ingredients haven't expired, it acts like a quality check and saves us from an angry customer. Step 3. Dough preparation. In this step, we'll roll the dough to the required thickness and ensure that the crust is thin, as this was one of the requirements. If you're wondering how we can achieve consistency, we'll use set measurements and timers to prepare the dough uniformly. We could even use special mats that show an outline so that our size isn't too large or too small. Step 4. Sauce and topping placement. Now, no matter how long you've been in the industry, you aren't a machine, and you're prone to making mistakes. You already know that you have to spread the sauce, cheese, and toppings in the right amount and places, but you could have a bad day and miss one of them. So instead of pouring the sauce from the bucket or using our hands for the cheese, we'll use standardized ladles and food scales to make sure that there isn't a shortage or an excess of any topping. Step 5. Pre-bake quality check. Before we toss the pizza into the oven, we'll examine the pizza to make sure that everything is in order and there's nothing on there that isn't supposed to be. We could have a supervisor or a dedicated team member conduct a quick check for the spread and fullness of the pizza. Step 6. Baking process. Since no one likes burnt or undercooked pizza, we need to make sure that we bake the pizza at the right temperature and duration for consistent quality. So, we are going to regularly adjust ovens to maintain the proper temperature and baking time. Step 7. Post-bake quality. Much like the other quality check, we need to make sure that the pizza coming out of the oven is up to our standards, like there are no burnt crusts or areas that are undercooked. If we spot an error, it's time to remake the pizza. Step 8. Packaging and order confirmation. Now, before we ship the pizza to our customer, we'll compare the order details with the finished pizza to prevent any mishaps. Step 9. Decision. In this step, we have to make sure that our pizza meets our standards. Obviously, we can't taste it, but from visual inspections and temperature readings, we will do a final check to see if the pizza fulfills all requirements for a perfect pizza or not. Step 10. Delivery. Finally, in the last step of our flowchart, we'll ensure that the pizza is delivered hot, fresh, and without defects. We'll use insulated bags for delivery and confirm delivery details. If the order was a pickup, we'll verify it with the customer before we hand it off. You see, by using a flowchart, we have a better understanding of the process, we have standardized the workflow for every employee, and it's easy for us to figure out which step went wrong if there's a customer complaint. But there are a few limitations that you should be aware of. For instance, flowcharts are really simple, and important details might get omitted if it hasn't been explained properly. Moreover, they capture a static state of a process, which basically means that in a real or a dynamic environment, they might not be flexible enough. Lastly, making these flowcharts for a bigger or more detailed process can be time-consuming, especially if precision matters. Plus, you need to review it several times to make sure there's no error in the flow. So keep an eye out for that. That's it for this video. Will you be using this method for yourself or your company? Let us know in the comments below.